This is just a story of a young boy who grows grass and plants countless worlds. The writing style leans towards everyday style, and the fighting scenes are basically smooth. I just don't know if anyone would like to watch this. Group ID 438386841 keywords of the novel. Awakening Blue Silver Grass, I am considered as Mu遁n without pop-ups. Awakening Blue Silver Grass, I am considered as Mudunn's complete collection download. Awakening Blue Silver Grass, I am considered as Mudunn's latest chapter reading. Chapter 1, Start. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1, Start. Some people say that hitting a shirt is not scary, who is ugly and who is embarrassed. But for someone like me who wears the wrong system and the wrong world, I'm afraid, perhaps, should, be more speechless and awkward than the above things. If you don't believe it, please take a look at the system that has already crashed. Although Lin Yen doesn't know whether this system died due to embarrassing him in the wrong world, or because it ran into the wrong world and crashed due to conflicting laws from different worlds. I should be able to use this word. But what about him? Lin Yen, a 21st-century little ball breaker, currently resides in the Kiba orphanage. The reason for his travels is that he clicked on a small advertisement while playing a small game on his phone. But unfortunately, Lin Yen, who was idle and bored at that time, carefully read through the introduction of the small advertisement and then began answering questions. If you can travel, which world do you hope to go to? 1. Biochemical Crisis. 2. Sweet Home. 3. Cthulhu. 4. Mysterious Revival. 5. Dolua Continent. Looking at this large number of places that people can hardly go to, Lin Yen finally chose Dolua Continent, which is basically free of any pressure, even though he clicked Cthulhu and Mysterious Recovery very humbly. After all, he wants to lie flat now because he is propped up by the big cake drawn by the boss. And next, according to the different world choices, the QA also became diverse. You have chosen the world Dolua Continent, please choose your martial soul. 1. Blue Silver King. 2. Lingmu. 3. 7 Kill Sword. Looking at these three options, for some reason, Lin Yen, who was a bit curious about why he was not the Blue Silver Emperor, silently chose the Blue Silver King. You have selected a martial soul. Please choose your direction for the development of your martial soul. Multiple choices are available. 1. Strong Attack System. 2. Control System. 3. Auxiliary System. 4. Control Auxiliary System. 5. Strong Attack Control System. 6. Strong Attack, Control, Auxiliary System. Note that the difficulty of the game will increase or decrease depending on your choice. The more choices you make, the greater the difficulty. After seeing this reminder, Lin Yen, who had been steady all along, silently thought for a while before slowly pointing his finger towards the fourth option. Then, he knew nothing. But by the time he opened his eyes again, he had already become an ordinary 3-year-old orphan with 1,000 hands of blood in my village, and his parents had all died when the 9 tails were broken. He was almost born that day. Dog System. Did you come to the wrong place? Ding, the system is self-checking and has detected the cause of the abnormality. It is deeply self-checking various functions. Ding, the detection is complete and the system has no abnormalities. Have you awakened the martial soul? Watching the system transmit to my mind, due to encountering the turbulence of time and space, I was entangled in a series of experiences that collided with other worlds along the way. Lin Yen not only exclaimed that his life was really big, but also that the system did not break down when encountering such unfortunate events. Just as he felt fortunate for himself, doubts also arose. Are you sure my 3-year-old body can withstand the awakening of martial souls? Aren't all the people in Dolua Continent 6 years old? Ding, host, although the upper limit of Dolua Continent is basically locked due to system reasons, this is also due to their system problems, which have nothing to do with the fundamental martial soul. And your current physical fitness can indeed awaken the martial soul. As soon as the words were spoken, I instantly understood why he could awaken his martial soul at the age of 3, but what the system said seems to make sense. At the very least, the martial soul is almost like a twin of its own, a divine artifact that can accompany its owner to grow all the way. The upper limit of this artifact may seem very high, but the lower limit is also absurdly low. However, Lin Nian does hope to awaken his martial soul now. After all, in this world, there is more power and more means of self-protection. The parents of this body are not strong enough. Did you just throw your life on the battlefield? Ding, please prepare the host, awaken the martial soul, start. The energy originally stored in the system instantly flows into the body, and then it triggers the underlying power in the body or soul. As energy input increased, a peculiar basket silver grass with bright silver patterns on its surface also grew from Lin Yan's right hand, and the next moment. Boom! On a sunny day, there was a thunderbolt, and then the originally normal system suddenly crashed. And this is also the reason why Lin Yan is helpless now, because he is a bit uncertain now. Will he be stuck by the soul ring? If it's true, then he might as well go and work as a kitchen assistant for Otoki Yao himself, as her daughter happens to be quite good. However, in his invisible field of vision, two wills fought out of thin air within the system. One is the cosmic will of the Dolua universe, while the other is the cosmic will of the ninja realm. Today, the original world will of Dolua universe is still observing the evolution of many planetary civilizations in the universe, passing my boring time. However, at a certain moment, I suddenly feel a familiar aura coming from an unknown universe. Sigh, how do you feel like something from my universe has gone to another universe? Is this my chance? With these thoughts in mind, the cosmic will of Dolua world also came up with an idea. He followed the guidance and rushed over, but what was waiting for him was a kind that seemed to be stronger than him. That big brother, I have something left in your universe. How about you let me take him away? Okay, I won't take it with me, but that thing is also one of my original rules. Shall I add some restrictions? Do you understand Esperanto? What about deaf people? Okay, you look like a fool. After speaking, I plan to break into the world and then please brainstorm the mournful cries of your dog. After a long time, the cosmic will of Dolua world split and limped away, leaving behind a part of its origin before returning to its own world. Before leaving, it even shouted loudly. TM's grandfather's name is Tang San Star. You name yourself as a street thug. An asterisk history. Grass. The cosmic consciousness of Dolua world is running faster. Until the world consciousness of the visual Dolua world had separated for a long time, the world consciousness of the Hokage world suddenly withered and murmured in a low voice. After all, I'm old. Alas. Unfortunately, there are no more people in this world who can be the pillars of life. Recalling the blue-haired man projected by the external world consciousness, looking at the world spokesperson he had chosen before, but now he has died, the eyes of the world consciousness are full of fatigue. If one is not already in old age, why seek strength from outside and allow various demons and monsters to enter the country in order to save their lives? Unfortunately, he is already in the game and cannot escape. The entire Hokage multiverse has also become a training ground for the younger generation of other forces. However, although constrained by others, at least I have seen the road ahead, but I don't know how long it will take to get there. As the words fell, the exhausted world consciousness fell into a deep sleep, and at this moment, Lin Yan's eyes regained their radiance due to a systematic prompt. Ding, the system restart has been completed. Push on the author's new book, The Fate of the Heavens. Interested friends can come and take a look. End of this chapter. Chapter 2, Mu遁n. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2, Muḍun. Tongzi. I almost thought you were dead. With an excited expression on his face, he hugged himself tightly, unable to do anything because he didn't know where his son was. Ding, the awakening of the martial soul has been completed, and the remaining system has been stripped. Now, the host is explaining the new functions of the system. Ding, the system is the most basic traversal system, and the way of traversal and the world it can traverse depend on the host's strength, to prevent the host from jumping too fast and being killed. Ding, the system collects the scattered spatio-temporal energy and fate energy related to sentient beings in the universe at every moment, and converts them into system mall points. Currently, mall points can earn a little in a day, and the absorption and transformation speed are related to the host's strength. For ordinary people, 1 point is used, 2 points are used for lower tolerance, 4 points are used for middle tolerance, 6 points are used for upper tolerance, 9 points are used for shadow level, 13 points are used for super shadow level, 20 points are used for 6th path level, and 30 points are used for health inheritance and net collection. The generation of mall points can only be improved due to the host strength improvement or system upgrade. Task redemption is temporarily not open, and the fate interception module is not activated. Ding, you can buy most of the items from various heavens and worlds in the system mall. Currently, it mainly connects to the world Doluo. Note that you can purchase creatures, but they belong to your own replica, and the replica also knows everything. The system cannot guarantee 100% loyalty, only a good impression. Please think twice. Tongzi, can you tell me what it means to be the main gateway to the world? The things mentioned in Doluo world are likely not out of stock. May I ask if you belong to the cat or the point? Ding, mixed race. Well, I have to say, we are a perfect match. When encountering a system that is basically lying flat, the abandoned house that wants to lie flat feels quite visually appealing, and it seems that the two can still get along well. As for the special mention of purchasing replicas of creatures. To be honest, Lin Yen has indeed been tempted. After all, there are so many beautiful women in Doluo continent that it is impossible not to be tempted. But if you buy it, it will be 100% loyalty and so on. Does he still dare to trust the system? And although they are clones, isn't it the greedy self who truly makes them clones? Thinking about these, Lin Yen quickly asked again, feeling that it was more important to improve his strength first. So what, can you give me some martial arts secrets, internal mental skills, and so on? You know that although I carry the bloodline of the thousand-hand family, it's not pure blood, big cylinder wood cultivation, chakra, or risking my life. Besides, my thousand-hand bloodline has been mixed with blood for countless generations. Ding, checking the beginner's gift package. Ding, no results found, 99% chance of being lost. Please awaken your martial soul first and observe the effect. Isn't my martial soul just awakened? And, do you think it's possible that you weren't even prepared? The little child hid in the shadow corner of the orphanage, feeling extremely hopeless about his own son. After all, the system without even a beginner's gift package was too. I have already reported the loss of that beginner's gift pack. I believe it won't be long before the problem is solved. So, why don't you release your martial soul first? The tone of the system was accompanied by a lost and speechless feeling, while Lin Yen, who felt that he should have a good relationship with his system, gathered his thoughts and answered. Okay then. Quietly ran to the border between the orphanage and the forest, looking at the fence that he couldn't possibly flip over now. After a moment of silence, Lin Yen found a hidden corner, then crossed his knees and extended his left hand. Ning Xian Jing Qi, Isho Wu Han, observe the appearance of your blue-silver grass in your mind, and then control your blue-silver grass, absorbing the power between heaven and earth to provide you with energy. The system's words were light and slow, following the guidance. The young child's eyes slowly closed, following the instincts of the body. After pressing their palms on the ground, blue-silver grass plants began to take root and sprout on this planet, which had no such plants at all. Just as Tongzi was looking at his randomly chosen companion and was about to say that my luck wasn't that bad, Lin Yan's inquiry almost made him vomit blood. So what, what should we do next? Puff. Quiet for a long time. You are the protagonist, I am the protagonist. I feel like just my condition should. Crawling. Looking at Tongzi, who was directly taken offline by him, I felt that everything could only rely on my own Lin Yen. In the end, I started the previous operation and lost my mind in contemplating the blue-silver grass. Time passed by minute by second, and of course, the blue-silver grass officially began to take root on this planet. After silently spreading in the forest, waves of almost imperceptible life energy were also transmitted into Lin Yan's body through the tender blue-silver grass. Until late at night, perhaps because there were too many war orphans in the orphanage, and his original personality was just a sullen gourd. Until now, the orphanage has not found his disappearance and has come to search for him. More likely, it's because the people who manage orphanages are already accustomed to this kind of thing, right? After all, the darkness of the wooden leaf has already penetrated into every part of this massive creature. The moon is bright and the stars are sparse. Under the shining moonlight and stars, the already scaled blue-silver grass sways with the wind and absorbs the gentle and watery moonlight. After leaving behind its own growth needs, it is transmitted to its owner through the veins of the blue-silver grass. The vitality in the body, which was originally no different from that of a normal child, is nourished by external life and then activated, stimulating the power deeply hidden in the blood vessels of this body. And although it was weak, it constantly gathered energy that was different from chakra, but could indeed attract people's attention. At this point, the document had finally been corrected, and the body could no longer keep up with the previous monkey flying sun slash. With the help of the large barrier connected here, it sensed these small waves. Did the ninjas in the village accidentally touch the barrier, or did external enemies infiltrate? Not long after the Third Ninja World War was just over, and the former nine-tailed pillar power vortex, 9 Shinai, and the fourth generation Ihokage, passed away not long ago. The newly appointed nine-tailed pillar power was just a little kid, unable to control the critical gap of the nine-tailed, and the vigilance of the monkey flying sun slash also increased to its highest level. A telescope technique followed the waves from the barrier and looked over, then instantly lost consciousness. Did Mu Dun? Teacher, was it your spirit in heaven who brought this treasure to Mu Yi? With these thoughts in mind, the complex ape flying sun slash looked at the young child surrounded by countless unique vine plants in the telescope, and the completely extinguished light in his eyes seemed to light up a little bit again. And all of this, Lin Yen, who was now completely asleep and relying solely on the blue-silver grass to provide him with energy and strength, was unaware of it. But even if he knew what happened today, he would still continue like this. After all, becoming stronger is an urgent matter. And for his small fortune, Ape Flying Sun Slash would definitely be willing to give him a chance. End of this chapter. Chapter 3, Moving. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3, Moving. The next morning, Lin Yen, who had just woken up, was blocked by several secret forces in the orphanage, unable to figure out what he had done wrong and was about to be silenced. In no time, he was carried into the Huiying building by several upper ninjas using the instant body technique. Looking at the two men, one woman, and three old men who surrounded him, just by their appearance, one already knew their identities. Lin Yen, the little one, also swallowed his saliva slightly and trembled as he asked. So what, gentlemen, may I ask if you have anything to do with me? After speaking, he nervously swallowed his saliva again. And it wasn't until then that Ape Flying Sun Slash and Mito Gate Flame, and turning to Sleep Little Spring, nodded and confirmed with each other. It has a strong vitality, even if it is only 3 years old, but it is almost the same as the children of ordinary families who are 6 or 7 years old. After the previous registered resident survey, it is indeed the people who were sent out by 1,000 hands. As soon as the words fell, Mito Menyen turned his gaze to Ape Flying Sun Slash, while looking at the somewhat strange Sleeping Spring, he silently shifted his gaze to Ape Flying Sun Slash as well. After all, unlike Tuanzang, who has always been unclear about their positioning, the monkey flying sun / is the true Hokage. Child, I heard you awaken Mudan. Use it quickly to show it. A charitable and gentle smile pulled out from his wrinkled face, even though Lin Yen had always known that the current monkey flying sun / was no longer the same as the fire shadow of the past. Not only was there a problem, but the problem was also significant, but he still let his heart rest a bit. Silently walking to a blank wall with nothing left, he activated his blue silver king, and then, a small grass shimmering with sparkling blue light instantly spread throughout the entire wall. Hurry up and pull out a piece of blue silver grass, then cut it off with a pinch. Chakra condensed his hands and gently placed them on the blue silver grass. After adapting to its devouring power of energy with his own feelings, Ape Flying Sun Slayer let out a long sigh. After taking a few steps back, he looked at the very obvious blue silver grass and asked Lin Yen with some confusion. Child, can we put away all this light? I'll give it a try. Slightly salivating and with a thought, blue silver grass's mimicry and disguise talent was activated. In no time, it gathered into the most ordinary weed. And until then, accompanied by the sound of rapid footsteps coming from outside the corridor, bandages were wrapped around one eye and arm, and the whole person had a gloomy and fierce temperament. Like a mouse that never saw sunlight for years, the man couldn't help but open the door and walked in. Ri-Zhan, I heard that a child has awakened Mudan. Give him to me, and in not many years, I will be able to cultivate him into. Alright, Tuanzang. But I've said enough. If you don't believe me, come and take a look yourself. As he spoke, Ape Flying Sun / moved a little distance aside and exposed the ordinary weeds on the entire wall. Due to the magical understanding between teammates and the instinct of being a shadow-level powerhouse that had not yet completely dissipated, he sensed something hidden in the group and came to the wall of weeds in just a few steps, making a probing like the monkey flying sun / But after everything was completed, he did not feel disappointed like the monkey flying sun slaying. Instead, he looked at Lin Yen with obsession and said a faint sentence. This child is only 3 years old. 3 years old. At the age of only 3, Mudan awakened. Although this Mudan was incredibly weak in their eyes, they couldn't even hold back, but, monkey fly, give him to me. You know, I have this kind of experience. I will definitely be able to cultivate him into the sharpest knife in wooden leaves, from now on. Enough, Tuanzang. Jitsuan Tuanzang's experienced sentence seemed to touch the scales of the monkey flying sun / and it wasn't until then that Jitsuan Tuanzang realized that he had said something he shouldn't have said. It's not that he and his friend Monkey Flying Sun were demanding talent, but rather that he reached out in front of him and reached out to the child who was not yet 6 years old. And everyone in the same team knows each other that this is one of the many scales that Ape Flying Sun slays. So this child is now entrusted to you for cultivation. If you can't do it, then I will take over, after all, the current leaves. Before he could finish speaking, Jitsuan Tuanzang turned around and left, leaving only Lin Yanchang, who had swallowed another mouthful, to breathe. After all, although everyone knows about Jitsuan Tuanzang, he raised almost all of Yamato, also known as Jia, as his own son. But after raising and deposing Yamato, it's his turn to inevitably cast a curse seal. After all, he has no feelings for Kiba, and this cannot escape the observation of those ninjas. With a long sigh, thinking of the current condition of Mu Yi, Ape Flying Sun / also turned his gaze to Lin Yen and continued to speak gently. Child, I remember you lived in the Kiba orphanage. Let's move next to the Hokage building tomorrow. Find a room next to the Huiying building and let him live there. From now on, let's allocate his daily living expenses according to his personal income. As soon as the words fell, a dark figure appeared, bowed, and was about to sneak out of the Huiying office when Lin Yen spoke up. That fire shadow lord, can I live in the forest? I can feel that they are very happy there. The blue-silver grass growing from the palm of the hand also began to sway with the wind. Is it in the forest? With some confusion, he murmured this sentence softly, his eyes shining again, silently sighing in his heart. Teacher Zhu Jian, is this the new seed you brought to the wood leaf? Thinking of this, the last bit of softness in my heart was touched. After nodding towards the dark side that was looking at him, I squatted down again, stroking Lin Yan's head, and continued to chatter about the strongest illusion in the fire's shadow world, the will of fire. Where the leaves dance, the fire also grows endlessly, illuminating the village and allowing new leaves to sprout. At this moment, Yuan Fei's piercing gaze was like a pilgrimage, but unfortunately, Lin Yan knew that his heart had long been corrupted by power and had become a politician, rather than a shadow of fire. As Lin Yan listened to the chatter that made everyone yearn to look at this fiery figure, although his eyes were also full of longing, he added a sentence to his heart. Until the entire village is burned down. Perhaps Huiying spoke in person, or perhaps it was because the land in the forest was really not very valuable. In just half an hour, Lin Yan was accompanied by many daily necessities and arrived in a very safe forest that could almost be used as a children's amusement park. And there, a wooden cabin with no interfaces had already been built, so Lin Yan knew at a glance that it should be the work of his senior. With a palm clap, let the blue-silver grass grow all over this small house and courtyard, and modify it to be the most suitable for one's own cultivation, also the most suitable for one's current aesthetic appearance. Lin Yan also began his journey of planting grass by frugality, which lasted for a full 3 years. End of this chapter. Chapter 4, Transition. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4, Transition. Ding, congratulations to the host for achieving the achievement of grass and wood leaves. I don't know why, even though it's such an unorthodox title, such an unorthodox voice, and such unorthodox writing, some serious things have been forced together. Is there a reward? After picking up his hands from the earth and squandering the maximum vitality he could use every day in his body, exhausted Lin Yan also lay directly in the pile of blue-silver grass, silently absorbing the vitality that was transported to him by the blue-silver grass scattered throughout the corners of the wood leaves, restoring his body and increasing the maximum capacity of his vitality. Yes, after wearing the achievement, the system points will increase by a little every day. Ding, black iron level title system points will increase by 1, bronze level points will increase by 10, silver level points will increase by 100, gold level points will increase by 1000, and star level points will increase by 10,000. Then bring it on. By the way, how many points do I have in the system now? Lazily closing his eyes, this feeling of vitality gradually becoming full from emptiness, made him very intoxicated. Although my newbie gift package has not received a response until now, according to the system's prompts, the blue-silver dark idea I concocted blindly may not have given birth to soul power due to differences in the world, but it has played a role in accumulating vitality. Overall, it is not wrong. Under the nourishment of vitality that lasts for at least 2 more years, 1 year ago, my physical and spiritual qualities were already confirmed by the system and could be compared to those of Zhongren. Ding, the host's current system all points have accumulated to 1460 points. In addition, the replacement of the beginner's gift package has just been received. By the way, through the unremitting efforts of this system, we have finally found good things for you in the Dolua world of the main network. Are you going to? Novice gift package. In reality, a tall man interrupted the system's words, causing the system to calm down helplessly for a while. You're really persistent. Alright, the big gift package is by your side. Remember to open it within an hour, otherwise you'll be caught. After speaking, the system fell silent and didn't want to continue chatting with this guy. Closing his eyes, Lin Yan sensed the surroundings through the blue-silver grass disguised as weeds. Although there was a system prompt, he couldn't help but check again. Until it was confirmed that the dark parts that occasionally glanced at him were not there, and the disgusted peeping sensation disappeared, he was pleasantly surprised and took out the large gift package from the system space to open it. Confucianism, Buddhism, Taoism. This newbie gift package is like this. Looking at the 3 jade slips in the box, Lin Yen, who knew the rules immediately after seeing them, abandoned Buddhist martial arts. It was not because of anything else, except for the successful business of his group of monks in his past life, that Buddhist martial arts required the use of Buddhist scriptures to dispel the evil energy even when practiced to a high or deep level. And I always knew that the great Buddha came out of the great demon, and when the great demon came out of the great Buddha, I thought I was neither the great Buddha nor the great demon, so I directly excluded it from the option. After all, who made him just a layman? And a layman who practices Buddhist martial arts. The ones that are often beaten up in novels are. And the remaining Confucian and Taoist martial arts, after thinking for a while, are very reasonable to overlook Confucianism. After all, a hypocrite cannot be ranked above others, and he believes that if he truly becomes a gentleman, then he should be a hypocrite. After all, in this world of destruction and in the environment of his past life, a true gentleman. It's really rare. Finally, looking at the only remaining Taoist. With a respectful expression on his face, Lin Yen gently placed the jade slip on a blue-silver grass that had been specially nurtured, and began to bow respectfully. Although it is well known that the Taoist immortals talk about fate and require only eye contact, it is not harmful to be respectful. After all, since encountering this time of time travel, Lin Yen, who has always believed in the existence of those great gods, truly believes in their existence. Lin Yen, a descendant of the blue star dragon, considers himself to be ignorant and afraid of not being able to enter the eyes of the immortals. However, he also believes that his heart is for immortality. He earnestly requests that the immortals grant me 1 or 2 wonderful techniques so that I can open the door to cultivation. After closing his eyes and bowing and praying for a while, Lin Yen, who thought he knew the nature of a cultivator, stopped procrastinating and directly placed the jade slips on his forehead. Later, as the 2 jade slips in the box disappeared, 2 streams of information also entered Lin Yen's mind. The system, which has been eating melons and watching movies all along, dumbfounded and left the potato chips in its hand because it knew that even if a beginner's gift package really opened a good thing, it was actually just a skill, but these 2 information flows. Did you really let this kid run into a dead mouse like a blind cat? Is that difficult? What kind of genius is he really? It shouldn't be. Others don't know his qualifications, do you still don't know him? Even if he has a nature, he can only be said to be at the level of a normal person. Although there are countless thoughts in my mind, the system still captures my mind, fearing that it may affect its collaborators at this crucial moment. After kneeling for more than 10 minutes, Lin Yen from the outside also opened his eyes with some confusion. Later, the system's information bombardment also rushed in. No, are you really being targeted by some kind of immortal? I really brought you some private goods. Tell me, did I give you some divine skill? The system, which was also bombarded with information, received the many teachings that Lin Yen had in his mind, which were so detailed that he couldn't go into detail, and could no longer speak in plain language. It could be said that as long as he could read, he could understand them, and fell into silence. Just by looking at this, I know how inferior your qualifications are in the eyes of those immortals. But why are you so good at being a person? By the way, how about practicing martial arts? Then, a stream of information was once again received by the system. The golden light curse. It's like a lump under one person. Alright, the upper limit is quite high, and it's also suitable for foolish people to practice. Moreover, your huge vitality should be practiced and purified. With this vitality as the foundation, your combat power will also transform quickly. By the way, because it was an accident that caused a back-end accident, there should be something good in that box. You can flip through it again. Upon hearing the system prompt, Lin Yen patted his head hard, feeling a bit numb after receiving a large amount of information. He picked up the box again and looked at a transparent jade slip below, along with a letter above it. Dear collaborator, due to unforeseeable natural disasters that have caused you losses, the back end has decided to send you a second level, bronze, minor cultivation technique. You can preview the information in it for yourself to choose from. In addition, after you choose the minor cultivation method, the backend will use the maximum daily system mall points you can currently obtain as the benchmark to compensate you for the system points from the time of system awakening to the present time. End of this chapter. Chapter 5, Rebirth and Transformation, 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5, Rebirth and Transformation, 1. So, Tongzi, I remember with my current physical standards and fitness, the system mall points I can earn every day are 2 points, right? By the way, after wearing that title, I can also add one more point, which is 3 points. That's right. That means, if nothing unexpected happens, this compensation can earn me 3,285 system mall points, and with my current inventory, there is 4,775 points, everything is going smoothly, and it should be able to help you reach the level of medium tolerance in all aspects. Perhaps it can help your Blue-Silver King's martial soul evolve to a new level. Although not as good as the Blue-Silver King, it is already a top-level martial soul. Without any hesitation, Lin Yen pasted the jade slip on his forehead, and his thoughts instantly turned all the techniques into lightness techniques. Although ninjas in this world have fast teleportation skills, the top lightness skills can also fly. As for the lightness skills that can fly directly, are they in this so-called second order? Be careful, there really are. Unfortunately, it wasn't until I searched around that all the lightness skills I could find had to be practiced to an extremely advanced level in order to fly directly. In the end, a spiritual light flashed in my mind, and the Jia family's imperial weapon technique under my command also appeared in the jade slips. As for all the questions that come to mind here, why not look for authentic weapon training techniques? Becoming a tool trainer. Lin Yen admits that he doesn't have that brain and can't play with high-tech things. Let's wait until his life evolves to a certain extent and his brain can keep up before we talk about it. And, if he remembers correctly, the Golden Light Curse can transform things, and its transformation methods, combined with the Jia family's immortal slaying flying dagger, make him a little excited. After all, who makes ninjas in the Fire Shadow world crispy? Another wave of information flowed into the brain, and afterwards, the system mall points compensated by the backend were also fully credited. And it was not until then that Lin Yen, guided by the system, clicked on the mall, and then her eyes instantly widened. Dolua Top Plant Soul Beast Zone, special offer, 1 mall point, equal to 1 immortal grass age. System, why didn't you remind me earlier about this good thing? Lin Yen is somewhat scared now, especially when he sees that the special offer only has 1 last hour left. Anna, if you really encounter such a thing, I will remind you. By the way, I had already planned it for you when I saw this thing. The Chilua tulip is born to command the spirit of heaven and earth. When all plant-type soul beasts encounter it, at least their combat power will be halved. It should be able to transform your martial soul and physique together. In the future, whether it is to cultivate into immortal mode or even mobilize the power of nature, it is possible. Thundering Yen Prison Vine is the top-notch plant soul beast below the divine level. It is naturally capable of devouring thunder to accelerate cultivation, and has strong resilience, strength, and vitality. It is very useful for you to practice the 5 Thunder Correct method in the future, or to directly go to Cloud Hidden Village to practice the Thunder Escape Chakra mode. Chirong Tong Tian Chrysanthemum, you should also be aware of this. After obtaining it, let's not say anything else. Your Blue-Silver King's resilience and physical strength will be greatly enhanced, which can be considered as the subordinate of Thundering Yen Jail Vine. Of course, this is just my opinion. The only 2 things I still recommend are the Yoshiang Chilua Immortal Product and Tian Kingting. Yoshiang Chilua Immortal Product is antivirus, and the remaining Tian Kingting may allow your Blue-Silver King to directly transform into a Blue-Silver Emperor. After all, Tian Kingting is only a life domain compared to the Blue-Silver Emperor. Of course, for plant-based soul beasts, this is already a heaven and a earth. As for why there is no blue-silver emperor. You are only one step away from it, why do you need to be like this? It's better to make up for other shortcomings. Upon hearing the analysis of his own system, Lin Yan pondered for a moment before asking. So if I really spend points to purchase one of the soul beasts, won't it attack me after it comes out? And if I kill it, will I get a soul ring or what? Before purchasing, the purchased item will make the buyer choose whether to retain or erase their intelligence. However, due to differences in world rules, if you kill it, it will not condense soul rings, but will be integrated into your martial soul, adding other characteristics to your martial soul. As a result, you will not be able to obtain soul skills and soul bones. Are people the same? Everything is like this. After taking deep breaths for a long time, to be honest, he never imagined that his moral bottom line would be so low, and some terrifying things really came to mind. After a long time, it wasn't until her mood completely calmed down that Lin Yan looked at the system and said in a deep voice. System, purchase 2,000-year-old Chilua tulips and 2,000-year-old Thundering Yen prison vines respectively, erase the spiritual intelligence. With the deduction of points in the system mall, 2 plants wrapped in special energy without any leakage of breath appeared in front of Lin Yan. Taking a deep breath, Kowu, who had been pinned behind his waist, was pulled out. With a single stab, the 2 plant-like soul beasts completely lost their vitality. Since their appearance, the blue-silver king's martial soul, which had been faintly stirring, also instantly emerged, enveloping and devouring the 2 plants. System, can these plants still be found? Yes, but after the refresh time ends, they will still be flushed away. Of course, if you pay for them all points, they can be retained, with 100 points per plant per year. Oh, it's really expensive. So, could you please help me keep an eye out for the plant soul beasts that enhance their devouring power, in addition to the ones you introduced? If there are any, please help me find and keep them. I think I have enough points left, right? Enough, but... Don't worry, I feel like my body is getting stronger. The body's golden light faintly shone, and the blue-silver king, who had been fed by all the origins of the 2,000-year soul beasts once, underwent a significant transformation. The huge vitality that had been accumulating in his body was also continuously refined and transformed after finally having the cultivation method. However, if Lin Yan was willing to cultivate chakra, perhaps with his solid foundation, he would be able to tolerate it now. However, Lin Yan, who considers himself not to be a pure-blooded big barrel wood, really dares not play this kind of risking his life, and clearly has something that others have behind him. End of this chapter. Chapter 6, Rebirth and Transformation, 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6, Rebirth and Transformation, 2. Originally, there was only a faint heat flow in Lin Yan's body, which grew even larger under the continuous circulation of the heavens. With a large amount of vitality refined and purified by the operation of the golden light curse, and the combined effect of the evolution of martial souls, Lin Yan's body and soul seemed to have undergone a significant enhancement. And the strengthening of the 2 also affected the transforming martial soul, which lasted for a period of time before finally stopping. The faint golden light on Lin Yan's body surface has already transformed into a green light representing life due to the characteristics of his martial soul. Then, under the influence of natural mimicry, he completely integrates with the surrounding environment, without any movement. The unique sense of comfort and joy from life made Lin Yan instinctively open the system panel, and then, the current changes also made him truly feel a little satisfied and surprised. Name: Lin Yan, Qian Shou Ling Yan, Gender: Male. Age: 6. Martial Soul: Blue Silver King, Top. Skills: Golden Light Mantra, First Insight into the Path, Jia Family Imperial Weapon Technique, First Insight into the Path. Talent: Spatial Perception, Affinity for Life, and Affinity for Nature. Features: Space, Life, Nature, Thunderbolt, Resilience, Monster Power, Mimi City, growth, energy transfer, energy storage. Life level. 1 conversion of combat power essence. Jomrin achievement. Grass covered with wood leaves, black iron. So, Tongzi, my spatial perception, isn't it because I got involved in the turbulence of space with you and haven't been killed yet? Maybe it is. The twitching corners of his mouth stopped the sudden brain-twitching question, and after a closer look, Lin Yan's gaze was also attracted by the strength of Zhongren on the panel. If I remember correctly, Zhongren can earn 4 system points every day, right? Yes, host, and your title is malleable. After you plant the blue-silver grass throughout the fire country, the title can transform into bronze. After you plant the 5 great powers and all the small countries on this continent, you can transform into the silver grass all over the continent. Will it be possible for me to transform into a golden grass-covered planet when I plant the entire planet? The corner of my mouth, which had just calmed down, continued to twitch. After all, this title is too shameful, but the system mall points are really fragrant. Host, you're so smart. Countless beautiful greetings were blurted out by Lin Yan in his mind. He swore that he had not cursed in the real world, and that his upbringing was already good enough. That host, your thigh still has 5 minutes left to come to you. The sudden reaction made Lin Yan unable to resist a sentence of national essence. Lying down. The sudden exclamation also startled the young figure walking towards here, and a teleportation technique came to Lin Yan in an instant. He hugged him directly, observing the surroundings while comforting him. Xiao Yan, what happened to you just now? It's okay, Big Brother is here. The young man who suddenly appeared, even though he didn't notice any danger around him, still pulled out Kuwu with one hand, and the freshly extracted chakra from his body filled his whole body, vigilantly guarding his surroundings. After all, no one knows better than him that this little guy who has protected himself for 3 years has the meaning of Mu Yi. He is the true treasure of Mu Yi that awakened Mu Dun from birth, not this incomplete artifact. Brother Yamato, it's okay, I'm just too excited, that's why. That, you see. Faced with this guy who is genuinely good to himself, out of his mistake and trust in him, as well as his vigilance towards the monkey flying sun / in the Elder League, the Blue-Silver King, who had just undergone a transformation, launched a vine. Then, using the newly acquired characteristics and the original mimicry and disguise, a blue-silver vine that was weaker than its normal level but stronger than the previous sample was directly spawned by it, and habitually entangled with Yamato. Feeling the passage of chakra and the strength it had transmitted, Yamato grabbed a branch of the vine and pinched it hard, only to find that it had not been cut off this time. Surprise and joy flashed in his eyes. With a strong shock, he broke free from the blue-silver vines that he had not used much force to restrict him. He squatted down with a happy expression, put Lin Yan down, and then took out the ninja school admission notice from his arms, saying happily. Xiao Yan, what did your brother bring you today? The admission notice from ninja school, as long as you study there for 6 years, you can become a true ninja. Oh, by the way, your living expenses for this month. I'm sorry, my brother is a bit busy with tasks and can't accompany you for too long. But don't worry, Lord Huiying gave me 3 days off this time. I can take you to ninja school. Looking at the brilliant smile and feeling the sincere emotions, Lin Yan's heart was incredibly complicated, especially when he saw his name on the admission notice. 1,000 hands Lin Yan. Haha. Do you want to use the clan name Qinsho to restrain him? Thinking about these things, although there was some resentment in my heart, the only people that Kiba had come into contact with and truly disliked were the 3rd-generation Hokage and his elder group. As for the fact that he usually comes to deliver his living expenses on time every month, and even sets aside a few days specifically to teach him various ninja knowledge, and really takes care of his Yamato like a brother. Okay, Lin Yan admits that his idea has shifted from leaving Mu Yi after gaining some strength and not participating in the chaos of the 5 villages fighting each other, to helping Mu Yi within his ability when he has the ability. The despicable monkey flying sun / and Jitsuan Tuanzang. As for why would the living expenses be sent to him by Yamato now, instead of being delivered to him by the monkey-flying son / who wanted to buy people's hearts, like Naruto, on a monthly basis? Do you really think that if Yamato breaks away from the roots, he will really cut ties with Tanzo? Leaving aside the facts, Yamato's life was saved by Tuanzang, and during that time at the root, Jitsuan Tuanzang really raised Yamato as his son. Although the old man's ability to raise his son was worrying, it was more like raising a knife. However, after all, these things are just the result of a game between all parties, but it is indeed quite good that he can spend 3 years quietly. In the spring of the 54th year of the Mai era, Lin Yen, who had just turned 6 years old today, was finally about to move towards a future that seemed destined. End of this chapter. Chapter 7, Enrollment in Ninja School. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7, Enrollment in Ninja School. Lin Yen is very embarrassed now, writing directly on his face. Perhaps Yamato himself is an orphan, and the only fatherly love he has ever experienced comes from the twisted nature of Jitsuan Tuanzang. Therefore, when facing his nominal younger brother, Lin Yen, who was actually raised by his own son, he can't help but easily collapse. Right. In summary, the guy who shed tears on the spot, looked excited, and trembled all over made him couldn't help but think of the one who had been running through the forest since training one day and found himself living alone, running here every day and loudly encouraging him. Youth. Youth is not afraid of difficulties and challenges. Overcome fear, overcome fear. Youth will not yield. This is youth. The green tight-fitting clothes have shed a lot of watermelon heads. Ignoring the strange looks from many parents and children, Lin Yen put on a hat and sunglasses, pretending to be an oily girl, and walked quickly into the school. In the message transmitted by the blue-silver grass, he walked quickly towards his own class. Due to his excitement, Lin Yen came very early this time. He casually found a sunny spot in the corner and reached out to stroke it. The place was covered with blue-silver grass, creating a very comfortable environment for him. Sitting silently and waiting, the remaining classmates also arrived one after another, and as expected, he was indeed assigned to the class where the little Chongs were located. The newly appointed Pig Deer Butterfly, composed of the eldest children of the 3 families of Pig Deer Butterfly, the youngest leader of the Oil Maiden clan, Yoshino Shina, the youngest son of the Inazuka clan leader, Inazukaya, the eldest daughter of the Hinata clan leader, Hinata, the youngest son of the Uchiha clan leader, Uchiha Sasuke, and among them, the most important 9-tailed Renjuli and Naruto Vortex, cooperate with a group of civilians to form an elite second-generation class, and thus unfold. As for Haruno Sakura, one of the top 12, it cannot be denied that she does have shadow-level qualifications. However, at present, if it weren't for Ino Yamagata and Naruto Vortex leading her, she wouldn't have been able to integrate into the circle there, and it would be difficult to have the opportunity to grow. Everyone in the classroom arrived, and Hino Irika smiled and walked into the classroom, holding a lesson plan. Classmates, my name is Hino Irika, a middle ninja, and I will be your substitute teacher and homeroom teacher in the future. My dream is to cultivate new seeds for Kiba, which is you. Do you have any hobbies? It is also in line with my profession, teaching students. So on the first day of school, can you introduce yourself? Classmates. Alright, now that I have my name, I can stand up and introduce myself to the whole class, Thousand Hands Lin Yen. Helplessly standing up, everyone's attention was focused on him, and after discovering the strange flowers, plants, and vines growing out of thin air around his seat, the truly knowledgeable children of the ninja tribe had a gleam in their eyes. My name is Lin Yen, and I can't afford to take on a Thousand Hands surname for now. Dream of becoming stronger. And be able to live a peaceful life. As for hobbies, be quiet, right? After speaking, he directly sat back in place, and the whispers of the children spread throughout the classroom. Blue hair, but he's so cute. Yes, especially with that melancholic temperament, it's really good. Very speechless, he closed his eyes and lay on the table, but it also aroused the cheers of a group of young girls who were paying attention to his movements, making Lin Yen feel helpless. After all, who knows why the fire shadow world can mature so early? After seeing the little guy that Lord Hokage had specially arranged for him to take special care of, Hino Irika casually introduced him and sat down. In order to divert his attention, he also called out the name of the next person. Uchiha Sasuke. The handsome young man who deliberately pretended to be cool stood up and attracted the attention of most flower enthusiasts for Lin Yen. In front of everyone's eyes, Uchiha Sasuke proudly introduced himself. My name is Yukibo Sasuke, and my dream is to surpass my brother. I like wooden fish rice and vegetable roll. Speaking very cute words, but also pretending to be cool, he perfectly poked the XP of most girls in the class, causing a huge sensation, forcing Hei Irika to quickly name other students, hoping to reduce the sensation. Unfortunately, since Uchiha Sasuke introduced herself, there have been girls in the class who have taken advantage of this opportunity to publicly confess their feelings. Of course, most of the firepower was divided by Uchiha Sasuke, and only a few people's gaze remained on him. And as soon as everyone in the class was called out by Hino Irika and it was the turn of the last Naruto, Hino Irika paused for a moment out of some kind of thought before shouting loudly. Naruto Vortex, introduce yourself. The classroom fell silent, and after not receiving a response from Naruto Vortex, Hiroka raised his head and scanned the entire class. Then, an angry roar sounded. Naruto Vortex. In the middle of the first class, Naruto Vortex, covered in dust and with a disheveled face, finally stumbled into the classroom. After a scolding from Irika Hino, he finally received an instruction to find a seat and sit down towards the end of class. And today, Naruto, who came late for something, finally saw an empty spot next to Lin Yen under the gaze of all his classmates, either disgusted or fearful. After seeing Lin Yen's gaze without any negative emotions, Naruto Vortex, although somewhat puzzled, still walked over and sat down, trying to greet him with some caution. Well, my name is Naruto Vortex. May I ask your name? Lin Yen, surname Lin, pronounce one character for each individual name. After a casual reply, Lin Yen closed his eyes again and silently activated the golden light curse, beginning a cycle of small Zhou Tian. Only Naruto Vortex awkwardly withdrew his almost spoken words, and then the ADHD teenager, who seemed to have something crawling inside his clothes, began his uncontrollable little movements. For Naruto Vortex, Lin Yen's heart is actually very complex because he is not clear about what he truly belongs to. Traversing into the world of Hokage, is it a struggle or a mystery of reincarnation and rebirth? Although these are all uncertain, if one gains their physical body, they will bear the cause and effect, but their parents have already died, in the Nine Tails Rebellion 6 years ago. And at that time, the scene of Nine Tails emerging from the cage and crazily destroying everything, even now, he still remembers it vividly. I really can't understand how a newborn baby can remember such complex things. In summary, for various reasons, Lin Yen now has a complex mind about Naruto Vortex, but no one can explain it clearly, not even himself. This book has actually been revised 3 times as a whole. The first time was originally with the same class as Muyi Maru, but it was written that thinking it was too small was a problem, so it was pushed forward. Pushed to an age a few years older than Kakashi and the others, but discovered my handwriting problem while writing, and had a few more days to continue writing my old book. Alright, there's no other way out, we can only leave the original plot for now, speechless, end of this chapter. Chapter 8, on Chakra. Just some speculations, don't provoke a war. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8, on Chakra. Just some speculations, don't provoke a fight. Perhaps due to being too young, even though almost half of the class are children of the ninja tribe, Hirano Irika still started teaching from the most basic ninja knowledge. Of course, in addition to ninja knowledge, there is also how to extract chakras. To be honest, Lin Yen is actually very indifferent to the energy system of chakra. Although he is amazed by its strength and idealism, and even the miracle of changing the body's genes, he may not be able to practice chakra until the last moment. After all, since crossing over, he has understood that there are more beautiful scenery outside the world, and he will not allow himself to be constrained by others. As for why do you say that? Firstly, people in the ninja world were originally unable to extract things like chakra, and the reason why chakra became popular in the ninja world and became the mainstream, even the only cultivation system on this planet, was actually because a massacre that occurred at the night of the arrival of Okabumi Hikari completely disrupted the newly established cultivation civilization in the ninja world at that time. Later, her two sons, Otakuni Yuki and Otakuni Yumura, sealed her, but they also completely transmitted the energy of chakra to the entire planet. But how did the first group of people who could cultivate chakras obtain chakras? It was the Six Paths Immortal, Otakuni Hanyu, who shared his chakra with the world and founded the ninja sect, spreading the chakra to the whole world. And where do the Otakuni Hanyu and the chakra from Otakuni Hanyu village come from? It was given to them by their mother, Otoki Kanzuya. If you take a closer look at the Big Barrel Wood clan in the legend of Bo-Ren, you can understand that even the Big Barrel Wood clan has a backdoor to their chakras. For example, the sect can smoothly refine the following families into elixirs, becoming their own promotion resources. So what about the Zong family? Don't forget that in the biography of Bo-Ren, there has been a mention of the so-called god of Big Barrel Wood, even if that god has already fallen. However, from this perspective alone, one can see the flaws of chakra itself and the already restricted back door, and based on this, Lin Yen dare not really come into contact with chakra's energy. And for him, another point is very simple. Squeezing the body and soul, the energy extracted cannot be stored, it is completely a system of squeezing one's own potential to exchange for short-term combat power. To achieve immortality, apart from the group of Big Barrel Wood clans who have broken through to the 6th level, there is only one shining knight that has been proven truly immortal. So, squeezing one's future potential in exchange for a power that is not much stronger now, who would do such a loss-making deal? Moreover, the energy of chakra is being suppressed by the Sky clan of the Big Barrel Wood. Is it difficult for him to really run into the Otoku clan and walk around? Even if it can absorb natural energy and merge into a magical chakra, it is only temporary. And in this regard, the practice system of the ancient Dragon Kingdom, which has always been recorded as the unity of heaven and man, and the use of the power of nature, has become his first choice, after all, who makes him always have a battle with the Otoku clan. The chaotic thoughts flashed by in a flash. Knowing that it was impossible to practice the Golden Light mantra with the current environment and one's own static skills, Lin Yen continued to cultivate the blue-silver dark mind and accumulated vitality during this slightly boring time. And for Naruto Vortex, who has always been a habitual troublemaker around to attract attention from others. Can it be considered as finding a sharpening stone for one's own cultivation of meditation and concentration? After all, Lin Yen has been beaten by society and is no longer naive. Although his perception of Naruto Vortex is not bad, it is not very good either. Of course, a large part of the reason for the decline in appearance is due to non-combustible materials. After all, the culture there is inherently at odds with his own values and cognition. And now it is very necessary to endure the 6 years as Lin Yen, who has been in a stable development period for himself. Even if the environment is dozens of times worse than himself, he will endure it. Moreover, in the eyes of the senior management of Kiba, he is also one of the top treasures, and it is impossible for him to truly fall into that moment. It's just that deliberate or unintentional brainwashing methods have unknowingly started for 3 years. Accompanied by the sound of the end of class bell, a large group of children in the classroom near noon also took out their bentos, either quiet, noisy, alone, or in groups of 3 or 5 to eat. And Lin Yen was picking up his backpack. After flipping through the bento that Yamato had prepared for him early in the morning, his gaze couldn't help but shift to the now embarrassed Naruto Vortex. Can this be considered a bad person? The education he received in his past life made him realize that even though it could be a trap in itself, he couldn't help but take a step forward first. After all, although Mudan also suppresses tail beasts, it is impossible for him to directly control them like the Sharingan. Although the 9-tailed human pillar power vortex Naruto has always had to be controlled by the ape flying sun slash, his actions should not have touched the red line in the eyes of the third-generation Hokage, right? A tender bud broke through the soil and began to grow rapidly in front of Naruto vortex, until it reached a height of nearly half a meter, bloomed, and finally withered completely after the fruiting process was completed. And in the same place, a huge apple appeared on Naruto vortex's table. And he himself also dug out the bento prepared by Yamato and started eating it in small bites. And this scene, in the eyes of ape flying sun slash, who was observing and monitoring Naruto and Lin Yen using a crystal ball, also brought a touch of warmth to his heart after a long absence. Although living alone for too long and being more accustomed to communicating with nature may seem a bit aloof, I am still willing to help my fellow villagers. As long as he establishes a deep bond with the village, Qianqiu Lingyan will become the strongest backing of the village throughout his life. He will protect the village's people well. Indeed, Teacher Zhujian, is this child the new hope you bring to my? Silently whispering, everyone would involuntarily fall into beautiful words. Ape Flying Sun stared at the Naruto vortex in the picture, Chihiro Lingyan, and Uchiha Sasuke. Several plans that could help them establish true bonds also began to be constructed. Stop water, you will bring peace back to the village in Uchiha, right? Definitely. Lord Huiying. Upon hearing the call of Ape Flying Sun slash, Uchiha Shizuki, who had not yet disclosed his kaleidoscope pupil technique without authorization, snatched out of the corner and respectfully knelt in front of Ape Flying Sun slash, his crimson eyes filled with sincere light. End of this chapter. Chapter 9, Introduction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9, Introduction. Wow. It's so amazing. Sniffing the apple fragrance that came into his nose, it was clear that he was the helped Naruto vortex. After the initial surprise, tears couldn't help but fall down. Just before he could habitually wipe his face with his dirty sleeves, a blue roll of paper that looked more like leaves than paper had already appeared inside his desk. Unlike the various ninja knowledge professors in the morning, in the afternoon, due to weather reasons, it seems that ninja schools are more often used as time to teach physical arts. Of course, for the 6-year-old radish heads who have just entered school, the teachers in the ninja school, and the high-level officials in various villages, even if they are crazy and resort to any means possible. However, it is still impossible for children to start practicing real guns and knives at this time. So the first physical training class for enrollment became the most classic form of running, without any goals, running until you can't hold on, which can be considered a rough way of selecting talents. After all, running tests the overall physical fitness and the tester's perseverance the most. Classmates, run without any counting for half an hour. Apart from not stopping and not harming classmates, there are no rules or restrictions. Let's start now. On the school playground, with the command of Hino Irika, the entire class's little carrot heads also surrounded the playground and began to run wildly. Silently keeping one's own figure in the team, adjusting one's breathing and running frequency. Knowing his own strength, the senior management of Kiba has always been paying attention to him and cannot hide too much Lin Yen. From the beginning, he did not plan to engage in so-called hiding clumsiness. After all, in a world where only growth can be considered a genius, cannon fodder is not expected by anyone. Similarly, in the execution of tasks, Tian Kai can be assigned to elite ninja, while the cannon fodder can have a new Jinzhong ninja leading the team, which is considered a stroke of luck, and the difference in danger factor is simply unpredictable. With just 3 years of accumulation, he still far surpassed most of his peers, even though his speed has never been fast. However, compared to his peers, some of his animal endurance still made him one of the few people who fell behind Uchiha Sasuke after running for 20 minutes. But if we only talk about the state, even little cool brother Uchiha Sasuke has obvious breathing at this moment, but he still has no obvious fluctuations. Silently taking out a pen and paper, he recorded the performance and state of each student. After detailed recording of Uchiha Sasuke and Lin Yen, Hino Iruka once again turned his gaze to Naruto Vortex, who was given special care by the third-generation Hokage. Is it a fox demon? Looking at the thin figures on the playground, striving to catch up with other classmates, their slender stature due to long-term delinquency, and their dirty and messy clothes compared to others due to living alone. The anticipation and longing in his eyes were like a sharp sword, repeatedly piercing the heart of Hiroka Hei. But he should hate the fox demon the most. Because of the fox demon, he lost his most cherished family, and because of the fox demon, he had a tragic childhood. As an ordinary ninja who could only teach students and had no knowledge of things like human pillar power, Hei Iruka felt conflicted as she watched this fox demon. 6 years ago, the pain was torn open time and time again when facing Naruto Vortex. The bloody wounds and unforgettable pain made Hei Iruka unable to resist pulling out his waist several times. But, Iruka, Naruto is a great child. I believe you are a great teacher and can definitely lead him on the right path, right? Recalling the questioning and earnest teachings of his idol Hokage 3, Hino Iruka, who felt extremely painful at this moment, ultimately did not disappoint his responsibility as a teacher and fairly recorded Naruto Vortex's performance. Just inside, but once again lost in confusion. Third-generation adults, is Naruto Vortex really a fox demon? Although human thoughts can transcend time, space, and distance at their fastest, it is obvious that Iruka Hei cannot achieve this. After he embarked on a journey of questioning himself, the final time also passed with the wind. Silently nominated Uchiha Sasuke, who had been working hard to run at the forefront, for first place, and then nominated Chichiho Rinin, who was only one position behind Uchiha Sasuke, for second place. Inuzuka, who was one lap behind them, was nominated for third place. In the afternoon, it was time for the ninja school to finish school, and Haya Iruka also announced the end of class. Ignoring all the joyful people silently watching, the envious Naruto Vortex and Lin Yen, who knew he couldn't change anything, saw Yamato waiting outside the school gate. Just as I was about to say hello, I saw Yamato's gaze looking behind me. Through the blue-silver grass field that had completely merged with the weeds, I saw Naruto Vortex hiding in the corner of the school gate, staring blankly at this place. After nodding slightly towards Yamato and leaving everything to him to decide, Lin Yen silently came to Yamato's side and turned to look at the current Naruto Vortex. Yen, is he your friend? I'm not sure, but I don't mind helping him if I have the ability. The light in his eyes flickered slightly. Yamato, who had always known that his younger brother could learn something from nature, gently rubbed Lin Yen's azure long hair before reaching out and beckoning to Naruto Vortex. After all, as an elite ninja, what is the situation with Naruto Vortex? He still knows, it's also out of his brother's small selfishness. If we establish a good relationship with them, when Naruto Vortex grows up in the future, they should be able to protect Lin Yen. Moreover, Muton only restrained the tailed beast and could not control it like the Sharingan. He would not touch the bottom line of the third Hokage and his own teacher. With a small surprise on his face, Naruto Vortex pointed to himself with his big blue eyes open. After being confirmed by Yamato's nod, he ran straight over. But as he followed, his footsteps slowed down and his expression became more and more conflicted. It wasn't until Lin Yen also raised his hand and gestured that Naruto Vortex finally made up his mind and ran over all the way. Let's introduce ourselves again. Lin Yen, the dream is to become stronger, live a peaceful life, have hobbies, and be quiet. This is my guardian and elder brother. You can call him Yamato, he's quite an ordinary Shangren. Speaking, he also reached out and patted Yamato's thigh, making him unable to help but smile helplessly. Even though he can be considered an elite person who can tolerate it. Wow. Alright, so amazing. End of this chapter. Chapter 10, Daily Life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10, Daily Life. Yao Lamian Noodles, Noodle Stand. Let Daiwa send away 3 bowls of miso lamian noodles that he has even dried, and there are some wobbly vortex Naruto when he walks. Silently taking out 1 month's worth of living expenses, she handed it to the young lady Acarus, gesturing with her eyes that it was some living expenses for Naruto vortex. With a slight smile, she quickly left the noodle stand. Let the reaction come to light, knowing that the calamus that cannot be collected can be chased far away, but because I don't know where Lin Yen lives, I can only give up in the end. Father, this is the meal money that Xiao Nian spent on behalf of Naruto, but now that he has run away, what should he do? Acarus, dressed as a little cook, frowned as she looked at the money in her hand. After all, she also liked this polite, sweet-mouthed blue-haired little guy who occasionally came to visit them, as well as the polite Naruto vortex. And Yao looked at the money in his daughter's hand, smiled and put it away. He also took out a prepared wooden sign from a corner of the small stall. Every time Xiaonian comes to our place to eat lamian noodles, he habitually pays more. I asked him why before, but he didn't say anything. But now I know. As he spoke, he hung this wooden sign on the small stall, and it read: Lamian noodles is half price for children under 10. Changpu, maybe you'll have to wait a few more years for your father's noodle shop. Really, father? So we have to double our efforts. Otherwise, what if I can't get married in the future? Looking at his father's actions, Acarus Calamus, who understood what his father was doing, also showed a sweet smile. Of course, it is impossible to avoid being coquettish towards one's old father. Silently passing through the blue-silver grass, Lin Yen watched everything with a warm smile on his lips. Perhaps it was just a little kindness that prevented Naruto Vortex from becoming a Pokemon, right? However, Miss Acarus seems to be pretty good-looking, and what about the little cook? Why don't we try chasing after her in the future? Thinking about some things that were not there, Lin Yen also found a ninja shop called Tian Tian Ninja under the silent escort of several dark guards and walked silently inside. Do you need some painless training materials, sir? Can I recommend some for you? The middle-aged man who was looking at the shop didn't say anything to drive Lin Yen in. He just crouched down slightly, maintained a level view with Lin Yen, and used gestures to direct Lin Yen's gaze toward some places where Kowu and his sword were placed. Uncle, do you have chakra metal here? The faint words made the middle-aged man's eyes slightly stunned. After a moment of contemplation, his tone also became more serious and steady, and he asked. Mr. Chakra metal is very expensive, and it is usually something that adults in Shangren only use. Even if it is, if you cannot show us something, we cannot sell it. The middle-aged man looked at the blue-haired child, who was only 6 or 7 years old, with a rare seriousness in his eyes. After all, it was impossible for anyone who could know about chakra metal to be a child of the ninja tribe. Therefore, being honest is the best way to cooperate with the ninja tribe. And in response, Lin Yen, who fully felt respected, didn't say much, just looked at someone else and shouted. Can someone come to protect my brother or sister? I need some chakra metal and I need you to provide proof. Speaking, he also took out the living expenses he carried with him in the system space and shook them. In an instant, a purple-haired female ninja appeared next to Lin Yen, squatting down to look at him and asking. Do you really need chakra metal? Yes. Usage. Create ninja tools. Motivation. After a process resembling interrogation, the purple-haired woman's secret department smoothly presented the purchase proof to the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man who received the certificate and Lin Yen's 200,000 taels of silver did not hesitate or doubt at all. He went directly to the warehouse and took out a small piece of chakra metal. Sir, due to the value of chakra metal, although our store can offer you the maximum discount, the chakra metal you purchased with your money is only enough to buy these. Of course, due to the preciousness of chakra metal, our store can also be responsible for directly crafting the chakra metal purchased from our store into ninja tools for free, and these quantities are just enough to make it a short blade suitable for your future use. May I ask? As he spoke, the middle-aged man also turned his gaze to the dark side of the purple-haired woman. However, at this moment, the dark side of the purple-haired woman silently retreated a distance and returned the home field to Lin Yen once again. After seeing the middle-aged man's gaze once again, Lin Yen silently took out the weapon design from his arms and handed it to the middle-aged man. So slender, like willow leaves, is it a hidden weapon? That's right. If that's the case, deducting some fuel consumption, we can create a total of 8 pieces. Excuse me. Sure, thank you very much. I just don't know how long it will take to build these. 7 days later, you can come and pick up the goods. Okay, I'll put these silver coins here. After discussing everything and putting all his money into the shop, Lin Yen, who walked out of the shop, also thanked the purple-haired girl's secret department. After all, if it weren't for the proof she provided, it should be considered the highest level. He couldn't have bought so much with this little money, and he could have also made ninja items for free. Thank you very much, sister. No need, this is just a task. Watching a purple-haired woman leave the dark department in an instant, Lin Yen, who had some guesses about her identity, didn't say much and turned to walk towards his own home. Halfway through, Yamato, who was escorting Naruto Vortex home, also walked over and scratched his head. After thinking for a moment, he finally said. If you need to create a ninja with chakra metal, just tell me. If you spend all your money like this, what should you do in case of an emergency? As he spoke, he vigorously rubbed Lin Yen's head and, with some caution and pain, took out almost 1/3 of his savings over the years from his own arms, and then forcefully stuffed them into Lin Yen's arms. Brother Yamato. Shut up, kid, just keep these living expenses for me. Really, it seems like I've been too focused on tasks these years. I never thought about what you need now. But the next 2 years will be the peak period for my tasks. If I want to accompany you, I may have to wait for a long time. Do you know that I must take good care of myself? I nodded lightly. Make more friends at ninja school, don't just stay alone like you do now, but I'm not by your side and you're not allowed to drink, you know. As usual, 1 or 2 is about equal to the current 0 renminbi and 60 cents. After all, every time I talk about money, I have a headache. Who makes this money not mine? Also, could you please refrain from raising books? If possible, could you please add more to that comment? Just be better than the previous book. End of this chapter.